Hey, if your table saw safety plan is just be careful, that's a bold move. Today we're going to upgrade that by ways and things that you can add to your table saw adventure that not only make your cuts better, but are just quality of life upgrades too. Stick around for that. The table saw is typically the anchor point of most workshops, whether it's a cabinet style with all the fancy bells and whistles or a job site table saw that's kind of minimalistic. Table saws also tend to evoke a lot of anxiety, especially in a new maker, and rightfully so. I mean, a lot of things can absolutely go wrong, but all the things that we talk about today are going to be transposable into all shop types and all types of table saws that you might be working with. And of course, this wouldn't be a table saw video without addressing the elephant that is right here in the room with us, and that's Kickback, which I figure at this point you've probably heard about at least once in your life. We're going to talk about all the upgrades or the add-ons, but before we get to that, I think we need to talk about at least the free stuff that you can do that makes all of this just that much safer. And the first and easiest one is just your body position. Don't stand in line with the blade. If it decides to go 900,000 miles per hour that way, you're giving yourself the best opportunity to not be in its line of fire, so to speak. Really, it's about mitigating the risk, not eliminating the risk. The next easy one is use what you've got. Make sure that's nice and safe. Most things come with a riving knife, a blade guard, and most of them now have a built-in anti-kickback pawl. Now, I'm not saying you should always use this. There's gonna be reasons why you'd want to take this off, cross-cuts and all those other things that we're gonna talk about in a second. If you're just making a general cut where this does make sense, then just use it. I mean, it's designed specifically to keep these guys intact. That's really a good thing. But the riving knife, I've seen people remove it. And I'm not talking about using a dado stack in a table saw because, of course, you'd have to remove it for that. I think, personally, you should just never use a table saw without it. It has a very important purpose. After you've made your cut, that wood is going to want to come together on the back side of that blade. What do you think is going to happen when that pinches and binds on the blade? And if you did buy a second-hand machine or an older one that doesn't have a riving knife, they make add-ons that you can probably find for that model. So please just don't use a table saw outside of a dado stack without a riving knife. Ask me how I know. We should talk about one of the easiest and cheapest upgrades that you can make to most table saws, and that is tossing out whatever push stick that came with it and getting yourself a good push stick or push block that meets your needs. Now, some of the things that you will find on a good push stick or push block is a grippy bottom that is grippier than your hand, so it gives you the confidence through the entirety of the cut, and control, which is what it's really all about. When you have control, you eliminate kickback, which we've heard about before, I think. And they do that in a lot of different ways. In the case of a push stick, they have a heel on the bottom that interfaces with the edge of your work. These typically come in a whole lot of different flavors, and I advise coming into woodcraft, getting your hands on as many as possible to see which ones feel right, has the features that you're really after, and really just overall meets your needs, because nobody's the same, and everybody wants something slightly different in a push stick or push block. Why wouldn't you use something so inexpensive that not only keeps you completely away from the dangerous bits, but also just makes life easier and makes your work that much better? Another cool add-on, which I don't see a lot of people use, is a feather board. You see these little fingers? But what they're doing is keeping pressure towards the direction of the fence and in the direction of the cut. You see how they're angled this way, and it prevents kickback. I need a kickback counter. And these come in a lot of different forms and fashions too. This one goes right into the track, but you'll find some that are magnetic. And this one has 2 layers that can be adjusted for the thickness of the stock. And I suggest trying one out at the very least. Here's one that's been right in front of us the whole time and I haven't even mentioned yet. And this goes into that category of why didn't I buy one of these before now? Because as soon as I started using it, I really like it. This one is the Jessam Clear Cut TS Stock Guide, and there are other versions out there, but how this works is pretty cool too. As I feed the board through, it's gonna drive it into the fence. But also, because these are spring-loaded and the angle towards the direction of the cut, it's not going to allow it to come back, which reduces kickback. And if I don't need it anymore, I simply loosen it up, kick it right up out of the way. The next potentially sketchy thing that you can do with your table saw is cross-cutting. So if this is a rip cut, cross-cutting would be going this way. And the first thing that you need to know is that you definitely don't want to use a cross-cutting sled in conjunction with your fence. That'll cause binding, which will cause... Right. Now, if the one that came with your saw is in any way flimsy, which a lot of them are, don't use it. These might look a little different depending on the style that you may have, but what they're intended to do is to take an awkward cut and make it safer. This one can move in and out to accommodate different lengths, of course. It does similar things to a push stick and a fence combination, where it's allowing you to stabilize the piece right here, you're well away from the blade, of course, and give you nice forward even pressure through the entirety of the cut. And a little additional perk is that you can adjust the angle on this thing, which is actually pretty awesome. And the stop block just makes it that much more repeatable, which is only good things. Another overlooked piece of upgrade, if you will, is the Outfeed table. Are you gonna let that 6 feet piece of lumber come off the other side and come up and get you right in the chin? This Outfeed table is obviously very DIY, but it serves its purpose perfectly. Not only does it create somewhere safe for your longer pieces to go, it improves the overall cut quality because it's not going to allow for any unstableness after the cut. And I know an Outfeed table takes up a little bit more footprint overall in your workshop that might be very valuable to you, but having one when you need it is just quality of life upgrade that I can't understate, and it's overlooked quite a bit. In all honesty, I'm of the mindset that you should be stacking as many of these as possible. When your work quality increases and the sketchiness of what you're doing decreases, that only creates confidence and overall improves the quality of life for you as a maker. So if you're ready to upgrade or to have some of these add-ons for yourself, stop into your local woodcraft or visit us online. And if you have any tips that I have not shared with you today, please share them down in the comments so we can all benefit from what you have to say. And I'll see you in the next video.